Could I ask what the last day of CTV was like?
Oh,
The very last day.
it was insane. It was
You also said it took 2 years to like when you made the initial point to then.
Yes.
Why did it take 2 years?
because I don't think I had the guts to do what you guys are doing right now. You just jumped in and said, "We'll figure it out." And I said it before the camera started rolling. I have tremendous respect for anyone who says, "I'm going to do something and I'm going to do it now." And I don't care who, what, where, when, and why. I know my dream. I know what I'm going to do. And you both have that. And I admire it. And I've listened to your podcast. And I can tell that if hardship or challenge comes your way, you're going to just push through because you know the dream is bigger than whatever challenge is in front of you.
Of course. Thank you.
So that is my attempt at salvation after.
She's good at this. No, she's good at this. That was the biggest part of my life I've ever gotten. That was like, wow.
You got to pull him down and it's easy to bring him up. No,
He's good at media trained, damn.
no, please don't.
We got
No,
it.
I'm honored to be here. I would not. I really am.
All love.
And you're so gracious. I'm the asshole.
But no, it's a hard journey. Like taking it, even for us, we didn't jump in right away. It might seem like that, but it took what 2 years,
Yeah, a long
year
thinking about it
and practicing and like sitting in our studio in the UMFM radio station, learning how to turn on the mics for the first
But
episode.
you did it.
Yeah,
But there was a lot of projects that never made it out.
Yeah.
Is what I think, right?
I love that you said that.
There's a lot.
So part of my 2 years of what the heck is I didn't know what it was. And then I thought I had a great idea. I totally thought I had a great idea. Talked to people, shared it with people, and it was going to be like Instagram Live. It was basically going to be a podcast,
Yeah.
and it was going to be all about pivoting.
yeah.
Because here I was,
Yeah.
deeply exploring a potential pivot. So I wanted to learn from people who were in a challenging emotional or career, professional state and figured it out. I'm like, oh, this is great. The whole world is pivoting. Everyone's in pandemic and pivoting. Like, I'm going to do a whole thing there.
Yeah.
And then I realized I couldn't do that and still do the job I was doing. There was conflict of interest. So then I was just, okay, all right, well, I'm not going to do that. So what am I going to do now? And it just took a year plus of conversations with people,
Yeah.
exploring their ideas, how you come up with all this, right? Like we've said that so many people in the pandemic started podcasts, and where are those podcasts now?
Yeah.
Here you guys are at, 150 almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is insanity.
Yeah.
Number one in Winnipeg for what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
Tremendous. But anyone can buy the equipment and launch an Instagram and say, okay, we have a podcast. Can you get to episode 52?
Yeah.
And then episode 100 and keep going. It is a grind. And I say that in all earnesty. For me, it took a full 2 years of conversations with people I respect. It took, brainstorming sessions. I finally did kind of have an aha moment where I realized media training could be like a foundational service, and I could have so many offshoots with it.
Yeah.
Because what I tell you I do versus the dream of what I have, it's pretty wild.
Of course. Are you willing to share what that dream is? Put it out in the world?
Manifest.
I'll put it out there. I want, it's multifaceted. And it was only recently I realized, like, I kind of feel like this is how my dad lived his life, and he's one of the happiest people I know. And it's that we can wear many hats and do many things. So there's no roadmap for how I want to achieve all the different things I want to do, and it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else but me if I feel it,
That's
right?
the perfect plan.
Yeah. So I'm proud to say I'm a keynote speaker, and I have a speaking agent, and that's something I'm working on right now. I am doing a little bit of TV segments again, which is lovely. And I'm doing my consulting practice of media training, executive presentation coaching. I'm helping other people pitch the media. I'm doing workshops. So on one hand, I'm using my skills to help people, and I'm also still using my skills in a way that is the most natural for me. And I just want to keep this growing as much as I can, and finding a way to scale in a way that makes sense, because I'm one person really. And just the whole business learning curve of it all, that's the hardest part. I'm a creative, right? I come from a broadcast journalism background. I've learned how disconnected I've been from how business works and how the real world works outside of a newsroom. And so the learning, the growth, just, if we're not learning and growing, are we living with the most vitality? I don't know. For me, I feel like I want to just keep growing on the ideas, building upon the ideas.
Beautiful.
Nicole, I know you do have to get out of here soon.
I know I could talk for forever. So sorry.
But before we end off, we always like to ask the guests, is there anything that we haven't discussed today that you would have hoped that we would touch on? Like if you were to walk away from the podcast, would you be like, oh, I wish Arshdeep asked me that question?
You have asked some straight to the heart questions. You're incredible at what you do. You really are. It's not easy. It's not easy doing something co-hosted either. Trust me. I've worked with a lot of co-hosts, and I'm the luckiest person to have had the best co-hosts. But it's a bit of a dance, right? But you've done great. I actually feel like I just didn't answer your one question about what my last day at CTV was. I mean, I put it on my Instagram. It really was 1,000 times more emotional than I thought it would be. I had allowed myself a few months prior to grieve a little bit of the end of the best chapter. And grief for me was just acknowledging that there's some sadness here, as much as it's my choice that I'm going to leave. I love this job. I love the place I work, the people I worked with. And I'm sad that that's ending, knowing full well that my curiosity, the pull to do something new, I couldn't ignore anymore. But that last day, I spent a good 2 months every day knowing when, the end is near. Just really looking around the newsroom and like really appreciating my coworkers, even before they knew I was going to announce that I was leaving. So when the final day came, like I said, there was so much peace, but what I didn't realize, I still don't even believe it, was just how sincere the people were in expressing their gratitude for my time there. I genuinely did not expect to feel so emotional from those who watched, the viewers, my colleagues. Like I feel like I cried for 3 straight hours. Yeah. And then we partied that night and I got really drunk.
That's